Yes, and I would like to invite now on stage my next speaker. Is Alexander Gigga. He's a co-founder and a chief marketing officer of Lengoo. And he has a background in engineering, and he's been with Lengoo for 8 years. And he will speak about custom training for language services.
Yeah. Thank you. Is that working? Yes. I also need to take the... Perfect. Hi, everyone. I'm going to talk about custom training for AI for language services, but language in general. And I want to start off with the number 42. It's the answer to the universe, life, and everything. This is what the computer Deep Thought came up with in the novel Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, right? And it took 7.5 million years to compute that answer. And after receiving the answer, no one was ever the wiser, right? No one knew what to do with it. It was probably the right answer, or is probably the right answer, but what do we do with it? We're not quite there yet, that we've had the time, or that we had 7.5 million years to train a supercomputer, but we've come a long way, right? So in the Stone Age, we've built our tools out of stone. In the Iron Age, we've forged more sophisticated tools out of iron. And in today's information age, we build our tools out of information and big data, right? That is what we do. And AI, or artificial intelligence, is our tool. And I want to stress the word tool here, right? Because we don't believe in a world where artificial intelligence replaces human intelligence completely, right? But we believe in a world where both will complement each other, work to each other's strengths, and keep working together on solving the challenges that we have. And we deploy this tool in a system we call Halos, a human augmented language operating system. And Halos is built on 3 pillars. The first one, obviously, is a lot of data, right? So when we're talking about these large language models, the generic one that we've deployed is trained on, I think, a little bit more than 5 billion sentences of text, right? We are working with our customers and their data to create Halos instances for them. And there we're also talking hundreds of thousands of sentences of text that are only specific for the customer and only used there. So vast amount of data that we put into these systems. The second pillar is mass customization. I already said it, right? We deploy 1 Halos per customer. So every company gets their own system. That means we need to build the pipelines to ingest all the data that we're getting out of standardized formats, have these pipelines run and build the models in this mass customization approach. And the center stage here takes the human, right? It's really important that we have the human in the loop, because the system gets checked and reviewed with pretty much everything it does by a human reviewer. With this review, the system learns, gets better and better, also adapts to new things, right? One of the challenges that we're having is that when we look at data, we can only ever look at the past and learn from the past. But here we have a system that also looks forward and can adapt. And the beauty of the system is that it never starts at square one, right? A lot of these systems with a human in the loop that needs to check sort of start from very the bare bones. But there is a lot of language data in pretty much every enterprise company. The systems that save them are called translation memories. The beauty about that is they were built for a very different purpose. It was just about whenever we build a new version of a machine, probably 80% of the manuals stay the same, right? So we don't want to repeat old mistakes, pay for that again. It was just a very simple idea why you would need to create a translation memory like this, right? Just check if the text is already there, take it out again. but that puts us in a place where enterprises have collected high-quality language data for decades, and in the hundreds of thousands or millions of sentences, right, that we can use here, which is extremely good. And these systems we deploy also yield great results then, right? So if you look at a common metric for machine translation, it's the Bleu score. It's a distance measure between a test data set and the actual translations that we put out. In our experience, publicly available generic machine translation solutions for the use cases that we have run at about 40 Bleu score, and we can up that by 50% to 60 by really going into the data that the customer provides us with, by really customizing our models to their needs, right? So from a pure machine translation perspective, that's already good. We're also looking at it from a what kind of value do we create for the professional who works with these texts and machine translations, right? So we look at if we provide a professional translator with the machine translation that we do, how do they deal with it and how much effort does it take them to get to the point where everything is safe, right? We're talking critical documentation of machines that can kill people, right? That needs to be checked. And for the generic solutions, you look at about 1 in 5 sentences that doesn't need a change. And with the system that we're deploying, we already doubled that number to 40%, and we keep pushing because, as I said, we never get to, and we never have the goal to get to 100, but it's really about making the human and professional translator more efficient as we go, so we keep pushing this number. And the title of the talk says, translation is just the beginning, because the system Halos that we do collects all kinds of high quality language data, right? And there's a lot more to NLP than just translations. And Halos will be able to automate the intake of all the language data, create more and more natural language processing capabilities in a category that we then call natural language automation, because that is what it's all about, right? Automating these training sequences. And the more data there is in the system, the more capabilities the Halos will have, right? Once we have a lot of language data in the system, we can think about other text-based or language-related topics that or challenges that we do, right? How about summarization of large bodies of text, right? How about generating text to the appropriate audience? What about transcribing speech to text, a very big topic? How do you do all of these things? And the way we go about it is that with every new capability, we deploy it into professional processes. We take the feedback as more data fed into the system, and the more data leads then to new apps that will be available on the Halos and to the user. And at the end of the day, what we want to do is, with language being kind of the cornerstone of our intelligence, right? All the knowledge, all the intelligence that we have can be coded into language, can be taught and learned via language. Halos will become an AI partner that truly understands, right? A partner that just gives us a 42 as a number, which is probably right. That also probably can't answer the question of universe, life, and everything, but at least a partner that is able to work with us, learn with us, and grow with us. Thank you.
Again, we have a little bit of time left for questions from the audience. I don't see any. Here. Tom, there is a question over there.
Thank you. That's the worst as a speaker, to not get any questions at all, to be honest.
Hi. Yeah, thank you for the great talk. I do think that we first have to process what you actually told us, so no worries about that. Since you were talking about the future, could you more elaborate on the future possibilities that we will have with that? I know you have mentioned some, but I still kind of miss the perspective where we could go with the translation of language.
Mm-hmm. So again, first it's about really mastering language, right? Also understanding language in a way that you can actually summarize things, generate texts. The future can also be that we incorporate different kinds of data than just text-based language, right? We can talk about videos. We can also talk about KPIs, right? This is one of the things I want to get at with the 42, right? Why is it the answer? We can't reason for it. There's no intelligence behind it, and quite frankly, in systems as you have them today, as impressive as they are, right? They're kind of guessing at what's the most likely to be next, not because they know what you want to write or what you want to read. So it's about also combining other data points into that to make informed decisions about texts that convert better in an online shop or something, maybe something like this. Is that more to what you wanted to get at?
Yes, and I was actually also thinking in terms of products, like what products can be generated from that in the future, and with whom?
Yes. So we're running an app that is a basic translation app for now, right? And we're just exploring what kind of other apps are there that people want to improve on, right? Where can we transform language or help people transform language to be more effective with what they want to do with it? Yeah.
Any other questions? No. I don't see any, so I would like to thank you again. Yeah, I'd like to thank you again, and yeah, with that, I would like to hand over to my colleague, back to my colleague Merle, for the panel discussion on how to scale AI successfully.